Deep in the heart of nowhere, nestled amongst whispering pines and forgotten trails, lies Marble Woods. Whispers of shadows, stretching too far, of laughter echoing in the dead of night, and of eyes that watch from the darkness. Tyler, Megan, Josh, and Ava. They weren't the listening type. Young, restless, and craving a thrill, they saw the warnings as an invitation. What better place for a camping trip than a place shrouded in chilling tales? Little did they know, Marble Woods was more than just a spooky legend. The sun dipped below the horizon, painting the sky in hues of blood orange and bruised purple. The air, thick with the smell of damp earth and pine needles, grew colder, a harbinger of the darkness to come. They huddled closer around the crackling fire, their laughter echoing through the silent trees, oblivious to the watchful eyes that lurked in the shadows. Dare you to find page 1, Tyler chuckled, holding up a stack of papers printed with unsettling images and cryptic messages. They called it The 8 Pages, a creepypasta game that had taken the internet by storm. What started as an online challenge was about to become their terrifying reality. The rules were simple. Hide the pages throughout the woods, find them in the dark, and try not to freak out. It seemed like harmless fun, a way to amp up the spook factor of their camping trip. They were teenagers, after all. One by one, they disappeared into the darkness, their flashlight beams cutting through the trees like nervous fireflies. Each rustle of leaves, each snapping twig, sent shivers down their spines. At first, it was a game. A thrilling, spine-tingling game, but a game nonetheless. The darkness that had seemed so ominous just moments ago transformed into a playground of shadows and secrets. Each rustle of leaves sent a jolt of adrenaline through their veins, a reminder that they were playing with something unknown. Tyler, ever the daredevil, charged ahead, his flashlight dancing across the trees like a mischievous sprite. Megan, never one to be left behind, followed close on his heels, her own laughter echoing through the trees. The thrill of the hunt had taken hold, erasing any lingering doubts or fears. "Come on, slowpokes," Tyler called out, his voice a mixture of excitement and mock terror. He shone his flashlight on a gnarled oak tree, revealing a piece of paper tacked to his bark. Page 2. Megan caught up, her chest heaving with a mixture of exertion and exhilaration. Josh and Ava, initially more hesitant, found themselves swept up in the infectious energy of the game. The forest, once a source of unease, became a shared space of adventure. Each page they found, each chilling message they deciphered, forged a bond of shared experience, weaving their fears and laughter into a tapestry of nervous excitement. "Dude, this is messed up," Josh muttered, shining his flashlight on the latest page they'd discovered. A crude drawing of a faceless figure with unnaturally long limbs stared back at them. "The Slender Man dude is seriously creeping me out." Ava shivered, pulling her jacket tighter around herself. The thrill of the game was intoxicating, the adrenaline addictive. Their laughter, a fragile shield against the growing unease. Each step deeper into the woods blurred the line between fun and fear. "What if it's real?" Megan whispered. The thought hung heavy, a seed of doubt taking root. "Don't be silly," Tyler scoffed. "It's just a game." Their laughter echoed, a hollow sound in the stillness of the night. They reached a clearing, the trees thinning to reveal a patch of moonlit sky. But the air, instead of feeling lighter, felt heavier, thick with an unseen tension. It was then they realized they hadn't heard Josh's booming laugh in what felt like forever. "Where's Josh?" Ava asked, her voice small and tight. The carefree atmosphere evaporated like morning mist, replaced by a chilling unease that settled like a weight on their chests. They called Josh's name, their voices echoing through the silent trees, each unanswered call amplifying the growing sense of dread. Megan stumbled upon it near the base of a gnarled oak, its branches reaching out like skeletal fingers. A single sheet of paper, yellowed with age, lay half-hidden beneath a carpet of dead leaves. It wasn't like the other pages, the ones they'd printed with their crisp lines and unsettling images. "Guys, look at this," she called out, her voice tight with apprehension. The paper felt strangely damp and heavy in her hands. The ink smeared as if something had tried to wipe it away. The words, scrawled in a shaky hand, sent a shiver down her spine. "Leave me alone," Tyler read aloud, his voice hushed. The words hung in the air, heavy with a sense of urgency and despair. This wasn't part of the game. A strangled cry ripped through the night, shattering the tense silence. Ava stood frozen, her eyes wide with terror, her finger pointing to something hidden amongst the trees. "I saw it," she gasped, her voice barely a whisper. "He's here." Tyler and Megan spun around, their flashlights cutting through the darkness, searching for the source of Ava's terror. For a fleeting moment, Tyler thought he saw it too. A tall, impossibly thin figure, its form blending into the shadows, its presence more felt than seen. And then, just as quickly as it had appeared, it was gone. The forest held its breath, the silence amplifying their fear. They were no longer playing a game. "We need to get out of here," Megan shouted, her voice high with panic. The woods, once a playground, had transformed into a labyrinth of shadows and unseen dangers. They ran, their flashlights casting wild, dancing beams of light that did little to pierce the oppressive darkness. Branches whipped at their faces, tearing at their clothes, but they didn't dare slow down. The sound of their own ragged breathing filled their ears, their heartbeats a frantic drum against their ribs. The forest seemed to be closing in on them, the trees pressing closer, their branches reaching out like grasping claws. Tyler stumbled, his ankle twisting beneath him. Pain shot up his leg, but he scrambled back to his feet, driven by a primal fear he couldn't explain. He had to keep moving. The path, once familiar, now seemed alien, the trees morphing into grotesque shapes before their very eyes. Every turn led them deeper into the heart of the woods, further from the safety of their campsite, further from reality itself. "I think we're lost," Ava whispered, her voice trembling. The woods seemed to press in on them, the darkness suffocating, the air thick with a palpable sense of dread. The trees, once a source of comfort, now loomed over them like menacing giants, their branches reaching out like skeletal fingers. Tyler pulled out his phone, desperate for a signal, for a lifeline to the outside world. But the screen flickered erratically, the battery icon blinking a dire warning. The GPS spun uselessly, the arrow unable to find its bearings in this disorienting landscape. They were trapped in a maze of their own making, the forest toying with them, twisting their perceptions, and tightening its grip on their sanity. A high-pitched whine pierced the air, grating against their nerves like nails on a chalkboard. The flashlight beams flickered violently, casting grotesque shadows that danced and writhed. The static intensified, morphing into a low, guttural growl from the trees. "Do you hear that?" Megan whispered, her eyes wide with terror. The forest was making its presence known, toying with their minds. "Stay close," he urged his friends, his voice tight with urgency. The static reached a deafening crescendo, and then silence. The flashlight beams flickered and died, plunging them into darkness. Tyler's heart pounded, his breath catching. A figure, impossibly tall and thin, emerged from the darkness. Its limbs were unnaturally long, its movements fluid and unsettling. A wave of primal terror washed over him, paralyzing him with fear. The figure lunged, its movements impossibly fast, and Tyler instinctively threw himself to the side, narrowly avoiding its grasp. He scrambled to his feet, his heart pounding in his chest, adrenaline surging through his veins. He had to escape, had to get away from this thing, this monster that haunted his every waking nightmare. "Megan? Ava?" he called out, his voice hoarse with fear. But there was no answer. Only the sound of his own ragged breathing echoing through the silent trees. He was alone. They were gone. Panic welled up inside him, threatening to consume him. He ran blindly, desperately, crashing through the undergrowth, his flashlight long forgotten. The forest seemed to twist and turn around him, the trees mocking his every attempt to escape their clutches. He didn't know how long he ran, didn't know where he was going. The air grew thick and heavy, pressing down on Tyler like a physical weight. Each gulp of air felt like a struggle, his lungs burning with exhaustion and terror. The forest floor seemed to shift and sway beneath his feet, the trees around him blurring into a dizzying kaleidoscope of shapes and shadows. His mind, overwhelmed by terror and exhaustion, clung to the desperate hope that this was all a nightmare. He thought he saw Megan's face, peering at him from behind a tree, her eyes wide with terror. He called out to her, but she just stared at him, her expression vacant and lifeless. Then she was gone, replaced by a fleeting glimpse of Josh, his body twisted, his laughter echoing through the trees. Tyler squeezed his eyes shut, willing the visions away. He gasped, his eyes meeting the empty gaze of a weathered tombstone. He traced the letters with trembling fingers, reading, "Here lies Tyler, lost to the woods." A low, guttural growl seemed to emanate from the very trees themselves, vibrating through the air, through the ground, through the marrow of his bones. The whispers intensified, clear and sharp, like needles piercing his eardrums. "We've been waiting for you, Tyler," the trees hissed, their voices a chorus of whispers. "He's been expecting you." Tyler spun around, searching for the source of the voices. He stumbled backward, his back colliding with the rough bark of a towering oak. He looked up, his gaze drawn upward to where the branches swayed and danced. "There's no escape," the trees whispered, their voices laced with a chilling amusement. Days turned into nights, nights into days. Time became a meaningless construct. He wandered aimlessly, exhausted, his mind teetering on the brink. He had abandoned hope of finding his friends, lost both physically and mentally, a prisoner of his own terror. The whispers followed him, relentless and mocking. He no longer tried to fight them. He was broken, a hollow shell of a boy. 2 days, 2 agonizing days of searching culminated in a chilling discovery. They found Tyler wandering aimlessly, a ghost of his former self. His eyes, once full of life, were now vacant and hollow. He mumbled incoherently about pages, trees with faces, and something tall thin, with no eyes. They led him away, his gaze fixed on the tree line, his body trembling with fear. The search for Megan, Josh, and Ava continued, fueled by a desperate hope. The rangers scoured every inch of the woods, their flashlights cutting through the undergrowth. They found their abandoned campsite, the remnants of the fire, the scattered pages. But of the teenagers themselves, there was no trace. The forest, it seemed, had swallowed them whole, holding its secrets close. Deep in the heart of the woods, hidden amongst the tangled undergrowth and fallen leaves, a single clue remained, a chilling reminder of the horror that had unfolded within the embrace of Marble Woods. Page 8 of the game, the final page, tacked to a tree trunk, its message stark and terrifying in its simplicity. He is here. The words seem to vibrate with an unseen energy, a testament to the unseen force that held sway over this place, a force that had claimed 3 young lives and left another shattered beyond repair. The game had ended, but the nightmare lingered, a chilling reminder that some places hold secrets best left undisturbed, that some dares are not worth taking, and that some legends are rooted in a terrifying reality that can never be fully explained.
The shadows are restless tonight, and so are we. If you're brave enough, hit that like button, let us know what you think in the comments, and subscribe for more spine-tingling stories that lurk just around the corner.